Welcome to the Franchising 360 Show, the only show that takes you inside the world of franchising, with hosts Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another episode of the Franchising 360 Show. I am Tim Parmeter, and with me, as always, is the lovely and talented Danielle Wright.
You should stop saying as always. Hi.
Well, you're always
here.
seem to be here, and we are, as always, on this show going to talk about franchising and take a full 360-degree view of the industry. We're going to help you understand things you need to know to determine if you should own a franchise, if so, which one. Once you figure that out, how to be successful with it, but also what's it like to maybe have a business and turn it into a franchise. Today, we're going to discuss some of the maybe
the topic that's really big for everybody.
Yes.
They always Google it.
What's the hottest blank?
Franchise.
And this time we're going to, not so much brands, but kind of some of the different industries that are trending. By no means the only things you should look at, but some industries that have a lot of growth.
Right. Well, because there are over 300 industries in franchising that have franchise concepts. So we could start with number 1 or number 300, maybe 222.
And isn't, like, you and I have been doing this a long time.
Yes.
It's almost crazy to think that there are really and truly that many industries, but it's like, it's harder to come up with an industry.
If it wasn't listed, I wouldn't, I maybe have 10. It's outside of food.
It's harder to come up with an industry that is not represented in franchising. We came up with one not too long ago, and we almost had a disaster in it today.
What?
Elevator repair.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I forgot.
Yes.
There isn't a franchise for that because we were driving, and this is our life because we talk about franchising all the time. Like, oh, there's not what is there not a franchise for? Elevator repair. Well, why can't we do that?
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a very up and down business.
Oh, heavens. Isn't a moment without a dad joke. Here we go.
But, and we got stuck in one this morning, so we were kind of...
We didn't get stuck. It just was
momentarily
halted.
Yes. So, but...
it wasn't wanting to go where we wanted to go.
No, or at the pace in which we needed to get there, or the pace our fine friends here at Biz TV needed us to be here.
Yes.
So there was that. But what do we have? We want to get into kind of these different sectors and some commonalities and things for people to think about. But, I mean, let's be honest, what we really tune in for is our franchise fun fact with Danielle Wright.
And yeah, it's me. I'm here, always. Okay, what are the hottest franchise sectors right now? And it's not what you think.
What are the hottest franchise sectors right now? And it's
right now, 2026.
2026.
Spring, fall. I don't think it's like fashion, but still, in 2026, there are hot franchise sectors.
So, and I think your favorite part of this segment is you were asking a question that I cannot possibly know the answer to. So you get to buzz me.
Everyone loves it. There is feedback.
There's feedback that everybody loves me being
There
wrong.
has been surveys.
Okay. And yeah, we should survey more people than just you and my child. But
no, we've had guests.
They like it as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I know what the 10 hottest sectors are. I'm gonna not guess one of those. Like, food's never going away. So
yeah,
no.
Burgers and subs aren't even close to leading the pack anymore.
No.
Nope.
Give us a range.
So here we go. Right. What are the hottest franchise sectors right now? And it's not what you think. The fastest growing franchise industries in 2026 are child services.
Yep.
And commercial and residential services, growing at over 3% year over year. So with that, 3% year over year.
And again, we talk about this all the time. Like, say the word franchising and ask somebody to name something, it's almost always going to be food.
McDonald's.
And you think of the things.
Domino's.
Child services for sure, but like commercial and resident, there's got to be 100 of those niches underneath that umbrella.
And we haven't really talked about AI on this show, and AI is everywhere, so much so I made a game out of the next time someone said AI, we were all, going to take a shot. So they are businesses that rely on people.
Right.
Not bots, not AI, not any of those pieces. They can have tech in them to help them optimize themselves, hence the growth in the sector.
Right.
But they're always going to be here as long as we keep having babies and
Being
buildings.
Being alive, right?
Yeah.
No, and one of those is going to come up again later.
Ooh,
On this.
I am always good. I don't tell you my fact. You don't tell me what the subject is, and this is where we end up.
Here we go. So when we come back, we're going to dive into a few more of the kind of hottest sectors. Still, is that for you? Is it not? And a little bit more on the Franchising 360 show when we return. Hey, we're back on the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter with Danielle Wright. And we are going to go over some of the here kind of almost midpoint of 2026 hottest franchise industries.
We never pick a brand. That's just showing love the wrong way.
No, and because we'll have some guests on, and that's their job. We're here to take a 360-degree view at the industry.
Thanks for reminding me.
So 10 hottest industries. Okay, ready?
As said by
me.
Gotcha.
Well, and we got this from our pals at Entrepreneur Media.
There
right.
You go.
So number one is Asian food. Very specific, not just food. Asian food. Beverages.
Love beverages.
Business services. Okay.
Question mark on that.
Right. Child enrichment.
Okay, which is not always other things. Okay.
Health and wellness.
Understood.
They kind of counted, those really sounds like two, but they counted as one. Junk removal.
Okay.
Personal care. Pets. Recreation. And restoration.
Okay.
Do you know what they almost all really have in common? Business services, I might kind of question that one a little bit.
Tell me more there, wise one.
They all do things to make us feel better. Be better, look better. Asian food, I'm hungry, now I'm not, and it's tasty. Beverages, thirsty. Who doesn't like a, dirty soda
hydrated.
Or something, right? Anything with kids, right? Kids, parents, pets.
Also, children's enrichment, which is a little bit different than so children can be two categories, right? Because there's the daycare and whatever. That's not really enrichment. That's just like a service to make sure that, no one's killing the kid.
Right.
And then enrichment's like, hey, I need to go to Kumon because I'm failing in school, or I need to learn how to swim, so I'm going to go to British swim school, and not to name drop franchises in any way, shape, or form, but maybe that helps.
Right. And then health and wellness.
Okay.
What do you get there?
Health, wellness. IVs.
Okay.
So if you see an IV bar,
right,
that's health and wellness. If you see the red light therapy stuff, the cryotherapies, I call it unique medicine.
Right. Do we count med spas or massages in there under
what was the other one?
Health,
personal care?
Yeah, personal care.
Personal care is where I would say massages and stuff.
Okay.
Potentially, but I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I feel like those would all go together. What else is personal care?
Haircuts? Hair, face, lash, nails.
Oh, lashes. That's personal care?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But it also could be beauty. But
I feel like that's beauty.
Right. And that's, I think, always interesting how many different little
nuances,
subcategories there are of the categories. Okay. But we need the kids and the pets, right? That's
a given.
Two of the three things we're always going to spend money on.
One has fur, the other one doesn't. Got it.
Right. But then you think of the recreation, to me, it kind of goes back to health, wellness, personal care, recreation, the beverages, all doing things where we can, there's kind of lifestyle related things where we are doing things, getting out, having fun. We were at one not so long ago. That's a franchise under recreation. It's like the darts. Remember
the dart thing.
Right.
Yep.
There's darts. There's
is that called recreation?
We could do the whole axe throwing thing.
That's recreation?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, you're recreating while you are doing those things.
Okay.
Right.
And this goes back to the Franchising 360 show being about, hey, not just franchises, but maybe you have a business that's becoming a franchise. So our business Create a Shift is working with a pickleball
yes.
concept. So he wanted to he started it himself, Him and his wife built it, had some great success, and now we have helped them become a franchise, and they'll start awarding franchises soon. So that's recreation.
That is recreation, and some of that's similar to that we've talked about, like some of the golf related things, right? I don't know. Pickleball people get mad at me. Is that really a sport, or is that recreation, and is that an activity? So it kind of falls into
again. There's
right?
just the nuances of the category itself.
But we hear this a lot with our clients at Fran Coach. You'll get people that have a little fear baked into them, and like, well, I really want something recession resistant, right?
What does that mean, though?
I will tell you what it means almost every single time. It is fear of like, well, because I'm not.
Or they've heard it somewhere else.
They've heard it, right? There's one person in particular that throws a lot of smoke out there on things, but the only thing that's on here that is really, I would say, truly recession resistant, no matter what's going on, you're going to be a customer of when you have to, is the restoration, right? Like,
right.
Again,
but that restoration also ties to kind of like the fun fact. It's like services.
Right.
In the home or in buildings or any of those things, like AI is not gonna replace a plumber. I read an article recently. I want to tell you, it's like Forbes or something that's like, those are the things that are never gonna go away. And we're now pushing people to get educated in those career paths because it's not something that is going to get replaced.
Right. No, and a lot of these junk removal and restoration, not super sexy businesses, but they're always going to be there.
Junk removal is great. You can spend a whole show on junk removal with me. I call it junk removal every quarter.
But again, it's like it kind of goes to some of these other things. You're feeling better, like, oh, whew, I got rid of that the clutter, the junk, all of the stuff.
Because we just clutter. Like, we just, as a society, buy so much stuff. Oh, don't get me started on, like, we had clothesbin, right? And I'm reading all of a sudden, Lord help us all. It's like how much we waste in buying clothes. And when you think back 50 years ago, you maybe had 3 dresses, 2 pairs of pants, and 3 shirts. Right. Like, you just rotated them now. We're just buying all of these things. Bless Shein for giving me a $6 top, but it's going in the junk hamper in like 3 months from now when the weather changes and I don't like it anymore.
It's better than the shirt from Nordstrom that ends up in there.
Yeah, that still
does
that.
But it, again, goes back to, the convenience.
So junk removal.
The convenience factor of what's there sitting right next to you. What can you do on that device is basically everything. And it's the post-COVID thing of like, we're all just lazy now from that standpoint, and we don't have to do anything. So, but that was one of the things I think with this is you see, and I want to come back to when we come back after the break, kind of the home services and business services, because junk and restoration are kind of in there, like certainly fall under that thing, but how many other things that are kind of hidden that we don't realize that our franchises.
And the definition of business services, like, we need to talk about that because I'm got question marks.
Yeah, and the way it was defined in this instance was more things that are helping the business, not cleaning the business per se, but maybe it's, coaching, consulting.
Okay.
It's
like our good friends at Focal Point.
Okay,
we can talk about that more where people understand what Focal Point is.
Yes. So they are helping the business from think more white collar than coming in and scrubbing the bathroom in the restaurant type of thing.
Understood.
Right? So when we come back, I want to dive into what we had in the fun fact with the kind of the commercial and home services and go over some ideas what that might be.
Fantastic. I'm here for it.
Cool. We will be right back on the Franchising 360 show right after this. Welcome back to the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter with Danielle Wright. Danielle, we were at the first segment talking about the hottest sector, or last segment talking about the 10 hottest sectors. A lot of S's in there.
Wow, that's almost as bad as your others.
Your franchise fun fact today talked about a couple things.
Yes. Children.
And business and
commercial
and
residential
services.
You're going to listen to me. Let's listen.
But you had talked about an article, and I wanted to kind of reference it because we had discussed it a couple of weeks ago. It's on Forbes in April, and it's from layoffs to leverage: how AI is turning workers into entrepreneurs. Great author, Rhett Power is the one that wrote it. And it was like, because we hear a lot of the AI, oh, it's going to take this, it's going to take this.
Yes.
What it ends up doing from a franchise perspective is it's another reason why people are exiting or have been exited from their jobs. And they're like, it's not taking me over as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Like it's not. And a lot of that comes in that where you get those commercial and residential services. I feel like we're seeing a lot of the influx and the increase there is part of that kind of being downsized or AI'd out of the corporate world.
And it's funny enough, there was an interview recently on 60 Minutes with a senator who is leaving this world. And one of the things that he had said in that was like, nothing's going to change entrepreneurship.
Right.
Like, if anything you're looking forward into the future is like, is government going to do a reset? Is AI going to take over? But he had specifically said something about like entrepreneurs. Like, you're always going to need someone, even if they're taking AI and creating something. Like, recently had this conversation with my son. It's going to be a part of your life, but it's still not going to change the fact that people are going to need to build businesses and provide services. And like we talked before the break, home services, like, there are still homes. There are homes being built. There's homes that have been built since, the 20s that people are like going to go in and remodel and redo. AI can't do that. A bot can't do that. I can't create this great thing to say, go fix my plumbing. It's not going to understand what you're asking it to do.
Right. And again, so it goes back to that fact of like also the recession resistance, some of which is a lot of fear people have at the beginning looking at this is, well, what if the economy goes down and people don't want to remodel this or do that? Like, there will always be people. They're just going to be the entrepreneurs that are still in position to do that because they are. I mean, again, it's like
the thing we talk about franchising is like, we had this discussion. There are highs and lows in the economy.
Right.
People lose their jobs. People get jobs. There's jobs reports that are good. There are job reports that are bad, and businesses still stay.
Right.
Right. Like, when we think how long KFC has been out in the market offering franchises, franchise owners have owned this franchise for 20, 25 years, so forth, so on.
Right.
Yes, it's food and it's a necessity, but I don't need to eat fried chicken.
Right.
Like, I don't need to go to KFC for chicken. I can roll down to my Walmart and pick up some chicken and fry it at home. But no matter what's going on the outside, people, like, the franchise industry still stays pretty steady. And then when I was saying the 3% year over year growth, that's huge. Because if it can stay at a steady clip of like 0.5% or 1%, then you're ahead of any kind of recession. And people are going to spend money no matter what.
And that never goes backwards,
spend it differently.
Right? Like, I think that's the services in particular don't ever really go backwards, whether it's, like 6 years now back into COVID or whatever, like home services. And they said it quietly then because they didn't want to know anybody that they were doing well in a pandemic, but they were still going. And it's
because blue collar still has a little bit of a stigma to it. Like, blue collar, okay, well, yeah, people are doing stuff. Like, someone's got to work with their hands.
Correct, right? And I think it always comes down to time or money. And for the most part, we as a society would rather spend the money to like not spend our time. It's why we have everything under the sun delivered to us now, right? Regardless of what the fee is for it. Or I want people to come to my house to clean or do this or do that or do that. Maybe I can, maybe I can't, but I'm choosing to spend my time on things where I can do personal care, I can do health and wellness, I can do recreation, I can go out and do some things that I enjoy doing versus kind of the have-tos.
Right. So from a industry perspective, back on the hot, this is why we never say there's like a hot franchise or a not franchise. Like, it's hot or not. It's more of what works for you. What are you looking to accomplish? We've had guests that are franchise owners. Like, what is your why? One just recently said, if we're going to work, we hope to make money. Like, we're not here all to work for free and be that person. But what can we do that makes us happy and feel fulfilled in what we're doing and creating a future for ourselves? So why we talk about industries is like, you can't really go wrong with any of them.
Right.
Because it really goes back to, what are you willing to work for and how hard are you willing to work for it?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think some of it too for us on this show is that whole educational piece of again, 360-degree view of the industry and to give some ideas of things that are out there that you may not realize are franchises. And again, when you talk about over 300 industries do have franchise options in them, it's harder to come up with ones that aren't than are. But there is no such thing as a best. There is no such thing as a top or a hottest. Like everybody must own.
Well, there
this
is
one.
such a thing because someone's calculating the data.
But
to
it doesn't
say
mean it's the
this.
best thing for you.
Correct.
Yeah.
They've either had explosive growth, as in they went from 10 units to 100 in a short period of time, or there's a popularity of it on social, what have you. It's there at every corner. So there are certain data sets that they look at when they say hottest pieces. Right. But if our goal is to really educate and say there's something for everyone, because there is something for everyone, it's just what is going to motivate you to do that, right? Because again, it's a big leap of faith to jump out of the job world into owning a business. So if we're going to take the 10 hottest markets right here that's on this little card, like what, in my head, what's sustainable long term? Because if I'm going to do it, like I'm in the second half of my life, I'm not telling anybody how old I am on this show, but what am I going to do in that next phase? Which a lot of viewers are probably like, what's next? Yeah. What's my ride off into the sunset moment? It wants to be one of those things that you can tell me is going to be not, hey, maybe they get to this many units, but then they back down to this because it's a fad, right? Like maybe it's red light therapy. We know red light therapy is good for us, but what's next? Is it a green light? Is it a blue light? Is it a purple light? Like, I don't know, but there's always going to be something else in the health, wellness, and beauty that take us to that next space.
A lot of the things typically they're in like the hottest or the trendy
like
or whatever.
Asian food.
Right? Like,
Asian food's been around long time.
Right. But those are sometimes they're the newer things, and some people like being on that trend. Others are like, no, just give me the simple, steady, unsexy thing. And that's where it's like there's not a one size fits all for everybody, and what's best for this person may be worse for the other one, and vice versa. Right. So
I had questions around business services. Are we going to get back to that?
No. Oh, not on this episode. Okay, we will come back to that on the next.
Thanks.
Perhaps we can get our friends in that sector to come in and talk to us more about it.
We haven't had them come in and talk to us about it yet?
I don't remember.
I
Maybe.
don't think so. Nope.
But who knows? That might be next week, folks. Who knows around here? But that is Danielle Wright.
That's Tim Parmeter.
And I apparently am Tim Parmeter. And thanks, as always, for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show. We'll see you next week.
Thanks again for watching the Franchising 360 show, brought to you by Fran Coach. Danielle and I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the franchise industry. In between our episodes, if you would like to learn more about franchising and the ways in which Fran Coach can help, there are a few places you should check out. First, be sure to listen to the award-winning Franchising 101 podcast. You can find this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Next, check out the Fran Coach YouTube channel, Fran Coach for You. You can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show, plus tons of other content. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out the book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. And finally, when you are ready to take that first personalized step and explore franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at Fran Coach. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow. Until next week, for Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. Thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show.